enriching young minds and hearts. Welcome back to another episode of Teacher Tips Tuesday, a weekly series where I talk about fun and engaging and exciting activities, tips, things I've tried in the classroom that I have found to be successful, and I thought maybe you would like to use them as well. Last week we talked about word sorting, which I think is a fun and engaging and motivating activity for kids to do in the classroom. But as promised, I figured this week we would talk about some extension activities, because as always, just like with anything, you are going to have different groups of students that are going to find word sorting super fun and motivating, and then you're going to find students who are either bored because they think it's too easy, kids who think it's too challenging, kids who are so quick, you have those fast finishers. We're done, now what? So I have lots of different extension activities that you can do with your classroom depending on the different groups you have in your classroom. One of the ways you can extend this is through games. All kids like games, right? So no matter what students are in your classroom, whether they like word sorting or not, they love playing games. There are a lot of different games you can play. Some are easier, some are more well-known, and some are more challenging. So the first one I'm going to talk about is none other than Go Fish. So what you would do is you would take all the cards after you're done with her sorting practice. You would flip them over, put them in a pile, and distribute them evenly between the students. The students would pick them up as in the regular game of Go Fish, and each of them would take a word one at a time, and they would ask one of their partners if they had a word that rhymed with the word that they read. Go Fish is great because 1, they're getting some decoding practice. 2, if they already know how to decode the words, they're getting some good fluency practice. And 3, they're allowing their partners a chance to do some higher level thinking skills by going through their words and processing whether they do have a word that matches that pattern or rhymes with the word that they just gave. Another game that you could play that a lot of students know is memory. You would take all the words again after you're done with your sort, you would flip them over and mix them up, and then you would lay them back down in the same columns they were in before, taking the header cards away, of course, and upside down. And what the students would do is they would flip 2 cards over and look for a match. So if you are doing short vowels, they would be looking for words that are part of the same word family. If you are doing ow versus ow, OU versus OW, they would flip over a word that might have OU in it, and they would try to find another word that has OU in it. So they're going one by one, finding all the matches until, of course, all the cards are gone. Another game you can play that's good for your students who need a challenge is a good old-fashioned game of speed. You would turn the cards over, put them in a pile, and you as the teacher would flip the cards over one at a time. The student who reads the word the fastest gets the card, and you go through and you do them as fast as you can. If you don't want it to be a competitive version of speed, you could have the kids go one at a time and see how quickly they go through the words. You can even time them if they'd like and see if they can get faster and faster each round they go through. Writing is a great extension to word sorting. You can do that in several ways. 1, you can have the words flipped over in a pile, and you would just call them one by one and have the kids practice writing. They can do it with paper and pencil. Those of you who like to save paper, you could have them do it on a whiteboard and marker. Those of you that are in one-to-one classrooms, you can have them pull out their device and you can have them write that way as well. And the goal is here that they are spelling the words correctly. Another way you can have them doing it is through rhyming. You can have the cards flipped over, you can call them one at a time, and the students can either give you a word that rhymes with it orally, or they can write a word that rhymes with it. Now, all of the activities I just talked about, and of course word sorting itself, can all be done independently. And the way I like to do it when I taught primary was to do it during a center. So while I'm calling guided reading groups, my students are doing this independently. I have a second set of sorts that I put out for the students, and I can let them sort either independently or with a partner. They of course can be the teacher, and they can lead a group, they can lead a writing activity. Also incorporate this into a spelling interactive notebook. I have black and white copies of all of my word sorts, and what my students do at the beginning of the week is they get their black and white copy and they get to cut those words apart and put them in a plastic baggie and save for the next day. Thanks for watching again. again this week. I appreciate you coming back to find out some more activities that you can do with your students for word sorting. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do that. Enriching Young Minds and Hearts. And of course, follow me on Teachers Pay Teachers. You'll get all the updates and notifications when I post something new. I'll see you next week. Bye.